You're listening to Challenge Takes Podcast, the only podcast that would stay in the Redemption House longer than Paulie and Natalie. Welcome to the Challenge Takes Podcast, the hottest challenge takes on the internet. I'm Joe Puglisi, accompanied by Brian Smith.
Yes, sir.
And we're here, episode 15, officially longer than Vendettas.
Here we are, and still so many teams left to go.
7.
9.
9?
9.
Oh, because you're counting Redemption House.
You gotta count them.
9 teams, and this also means a 4th Redemption Challenge is gonna come.
Yep.
I kind of figured it was gonna be 3 all year, but or all season, but 4.
It's got to be in.
That's ridiculous.
And they're adding 2 more teams back into the house, like we got this episode.
On the 4th one? What do you mean?
No, in this one.
What do you mean?
In this one, they added 2 more teams.
Oh yeah,
left.
added 2.
So they're just making it even longer than it even needs to be.
Yeah,
which Sylvia pointed out, this season's never going to end.
Yeah, she's in on it. She knows. But yeah, it's brutal. But I will say, at least this episode did not drag, like some of the others have a tendency to do, and that's probably because of the fact that there were 3 freaking eliminations on this episode.
Yeah, it was nice.
Has to be a challenge record.
Indeed, a challenge first. Also, the first time that a team has won and lost in the same episode, but we'll get to that. Spoiler alert.
Is that just also the same time the same team has competed in 2 eliminations in the same episode?
Yeah, probably.
Kind of like
unless you want to count Corey and Devin last week as it being like 2 eliminations.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I would count that.
Yeah, maybe. But they did like back to back. It was.
Yeah, so it'd be the first one to lose and win, which is definitely harder than win and win. Well, I guess rarer, I would say, of an already rare breed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you mentioned to me earlier that we are fastly approaching Dirty 30's number.
Oh yeah, we're gonna destroy that. I'm no doubts about that.
Dirty 30 was 17 episodes.
Mm-hmm. They only had 3 redemptions, and they only had one person come back.
There's 3 redemptions. For some reason, I only
3?
remember 2.
And get this: if you lost the redemption challenge, you
went
home. Imagine that novel concept.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Someone should remind TJ about that.
Yeah, they really should. Maybe come in via satellite and tell them. Speaking
of TJ, today he was just really loving getting in on it. He was in a good mood for all this redemption nonsense, from when they were picking double crosses to the elimination itself. TJ was just in a mood.
Yep, throwing zingers at Natalie and Paulie for them spending literally a month. I'm not exaggerating this. I'm pretty sure this was almost a month of filming time they were in this redemption house.
That is outrageous.
But me and you would last longer, and even longer if we were there, I bet.
Yeah.
And what you heard at the top of the hour.
What was the goofy thing TJ did when during the redemption cross pulling?
Oh, so he just made a goofy face. He was like, "Whoa!"
Like. It was just like so ridiculous by even TJ standards, where like he started breaking at the end because he knew he was being so goofy.
This whole trilogy has just gotten TJ so fired up. He like has this new energy now, and he's like really like injecting himself into it more, making his own like personal like things that he's saying what's on his mind. He's giving his own commentaries in certain situations, which is something he never really did in the past. Before, he was kind of just like a mute robot.
Didn't he shit all over Big Easy when he quit?
Oh, yeah. But quitting is one thing. But
yeah, quitting, he was always known
he almost never put his 2 cents in on any like situation. Rarely made like sly remarks or like commentary that like enough that we could have heard it. He was always just kind of a chill, laid-back host. Gave the rules, told people what to do, and that was that.
I think I've asked you this question before. I just don't remember. Well, what was the last season that TJ wasn't hosting?
That would be the season before the Gauntlet 2, which was the Inferno 2?
What season would that be, if you can, like, number?
Season number? Season 11, I want to say? Or maybe 12. Might have been 12.
Dang, so he's got the last 20 seasons under his belt. There's no gaps. He never
Nope.
gave it up for one
Except
season.
except for when I guess he didn't do any of the spin-offs, but it was weird when they had Victor Cruz host the one spin-off.
Victor Cruz and then the Miz. Right? Miz hosted one.
And I remember correctly, you did not have a good first impression of TJ when you very first started the show. You weren't super into it.
I'm still not into TJ that much.
But even when you watch, it's this host is terrible. But then again, that's kind of your personality. You do that with a lot of things.
No, it's more like that he's not a usual host. He's not an atypical host. He's not usually they're really bubbly and lively and always putting jabs and commentary in, and he's none of that.
Well, he's been doing it the past couple seasons more than he has ever in the past.
It's just that's why I was he's he's kind of boring, but he grows on you with time. You're kind of that's TJ's style. But if you just start watching your first season, you're probably just gonna think TJ is just a really lame, boring host.
You start with one of the rivals or one of the
yeah, exactly. If you just started tuning in on Rivals 2 or 3, you're just gonna be well, who is this guy?
Well, I mean, he doesn't get in the way, so.
Yeah, it is an interesting that's his role, because I'm sure production also, if production told him to be more bubbly, he would be. So it's interesting that the way that the producers have designed the shows that they want this style of host, which is kind of interesting.
Well, thanks for coming to our TJ TED Talk. So let's get into the episode. It starts off where we left last week, which was the elimination between Marie, Cara, and Shane and Nelson in this little breaking walls maze, which must have been very complicated for the cameraman.
Yeah, there's some wonky camera work going into this too, because they had the aerial cam, they had cameras in each room.
Yep. A lot of cameras.
And they had cameramen running around the outside for any of the border rooms that were up against the fence or whatever was on the edging. I can't remember. And then at the end, after they grabbed the keys, they must have had some sort of off-stage talk where they said, hey, when you make it to your box, P.S. there's also a GoPro behind it, and we want you to carry it on the way out. Yeah, because then all of a sudden they just had Shane and I believe Marie had GoPros in their hand on their escape.
There had to be, because there's no camera that exists that's either that or there's somehow some magical camera GoPros. That's a fly.
They had their hand out. They were holding GoPros for sure. GoPros on a very small tripod or just a handle or whatever they had them attached to. But that didn't, to my recollection, that didn't happen until after the boxes. The box was opened or whatever they had to do with the box. So there's definitely off-screen instructions where they said that one of you guys, because now you don't have to break through walls.
Yeah.
Just run with a GoPro. We think it'll look cool. And it did.
It did.
It looked very cool, actually.
Shane threatened to blast her shit on Twitter before this. Spoiler alert, he didn't. So.
Oh, you didn't do it?
No. You
didn't want to be a sore winner?
As much as Cara wants to think
if he lost, he would have blasted her so hard.
As much as Cara wants to try to perpetuate here that all these people are Marie's fake friends because they're not. She's at the bottom of her alliance. By the way, they're at the bottom of the alliance because of Cara.
Yeah,
that's why that Marie is in the position that she's in.
I still think she would have been at the bottom of the alliance anyway.
Probably.
She's not technically a lavender lady.
But the point is that Marie's friends aren't betraying her.
No, they're not.
They just have no other options at this point. And Cara's trying to make it seem like they're not her friends. They're not her real friends.
I don't think Marie's buying that either.
I don't think Marie's buying it either.
But it's not
annoying me when Cara says it because it's she's literally had.
I don't think Cara's buying it either. They're just playing it up for TV stake. That's the name of the game. It's a reality TV show. It's also probably why Shane didn't blow her up because this is, I don't know, 5 months after this event happened. No. He's super over it.
They've been friends ever since the show finished. But I'm saying, but that is a great point that you make. But for some reason, the fact that it's Cara Maria makes me think otherwise because the show is fucking her life, and that is totally something that she would do. Try to make Marie feel like these people aren't actually her friends.
I don't think she's being vindictive and like trying to actually break something. They're
Not
just
trying to break it, but she just keeps like making these comments that like suggest this. Because to her the game is like her life. So if someone who was her friend betrayed her, then she would take that as like, oh, the fucking world is ending. We can't be friends anymore.
So you're saying that she has the Camilla problem
or the bananas problem?
Well, I was thinking the Camilla problem where
not as deep as Camilla.
Certain people were giving like saying like, you know, this girl pretty much grew up on reality TV.
Yeah.
Because like how old was she when she came?
Kara's not like 21, 22.
Yeah.
Kara's not like that. Like she's not on the edge of a mental breakdown. But she's just one of those people who struggles to blur those lines, I think. Mm-hmm. And Bananas is the same way. He literally never.
How old was Cara when she came on?
She was like 24, 25.
How old is she now?
31. She actually was only like 23 when she came on. Yeah, 32. I think maybe. Yeah. What I'm saying is like that's why these people, and they've said it a lot. The Lavenders have said it a lot. Unfortunately, is that no one likes you. But that's. They don't have a lot of friends, and that's why, because they don't blur those lines. They don't make personal connections with people really. It's all game to them. So that's why I think this is actually a serious thing from Cara, because she thinks if she was in Marie's position, she would think that, oh, these are my friends, they're betraying me, they're not my real friends. Whereas I think Marie isn't buying into it. She knows that. She had her little fight with Shane here. She had her fight with Sylvia a few weeks ago, but they're going to be fine at the end of the day. In fact, Marie's argued with all of the Lavender ladies at some point.
So thing, so Shane.
Yeah. Well, Shane hasn't argued within his alliance.
Not this season.
No, he hasn't in the past. He fought with Nelson.
Hasn't he gotten yelly with Ashley?
I don't think so. He might have. That was because Hunter was doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
He was like calling out Hunter for something.
But we digress.
And so, in this elimination, you had to break these little walls. I don't know. It's hard to really see what was going on in these exactly. Was there an equalizer for this, or was it just the fact that the walls were like?
I don't think there was necessarily an equalizer.
There's just a better path to take. Path of least resistance.
I don't necessarily think there's an equalizer. And that might be why Nelly and Shane won this, but it appeared that they were both had gotten their keys and were running out, so it was probably
pretty close, yeah.
There is potential that there could have been smaller or lighter things to break through.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where I remember it was a very quick cut. It showed up on the screen real quick where Cara just gave a right hook to the wall and just blasted through it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nelson literally broke down a wall by just touching it, but that was because it was cardboard.
Yeah. But this was the wall I remember Cara punching through was white. It wasn't like that brown like cheesy cardboard that Nelly crushed. So maybe they had an equalizer and gave them thinner walls. However, I do not know, and I could not tell.
So, Nelson and Shane get their keys, and they out of that bitch. Shane, GoPro in hand for some of that is what it seemed. Mm-hmm. Nelly's now 8-1 in eliminations with the win tie against Darrell. I'm not sure if he said he was now 9-1, but 9-1 is insane. 8-1 though, that's like Laurel territory.
Well, she was 9-0 before she lost?
Yeah.
You said? Okay.
Yep, in the same amount of seasons as Nelson, so.
Yeah.
This is not getting discussed enough, I feel like. They're not making a big enough point.
No, it's because there's a 1 in the loss column.
Well, and because it's like there are weird circumstances. Like, he hasn't had like a huge No,
you said the same amount of seasons.
5 seasons for both of them. Nelson and Laurel.
Who the hell was dumb enough to send Laurel in that many times?
Oh, she went in her fair share.
Like, what were you guys thinking?
Trying to get rid of? No, you're trying to get rid of her. She went in 4 times on Free Agents. She won the season. Of course, they try to get rid of her.
She's gonna murder everybody.
That's like that logic. That's like backwards logic you use. Like, who's trying to get rid of her? Of course they tried to get rid of her.
Like, I feel like a lot of times they're just feeding sheep to her. Like, how many times did she get, like, competition that was, like...
Actual legit?
Anybody that could actually go up against her, what, like Cara?
Anissa could have taken her. Teresa could have taken her. That was, like, a puzzle thing. Cara, she pretty easily beat both times she faced her.
That was younger Cara who wasn't, like, as good.
I mean, on Invasion, Laurel handled her.
Oh, yeah, Invasion Cara. Okay, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, right. That was the one that she should have lost, the one to Teresa.
Yeah, that was probably...
And like, the tiered puzzle
well, and
thing.
Anissa was real close. Like, she lost 2-0, but both of them were, like, a second.
Right.
On, like, what's it called? Oppenheimer?
Is
like,
that the one where you, like, run around a circle, smash each other, and then keep running? Yeah.
That's why I always think Anissa still... Even though Anissa has lost so many eliminations recently... Like, she used to have a really good record, and then it just fell off. It's still somebody that, like, to somewhat fear an elimination, just because of how close she was to taking Laurel. Right. Maybe the most unbeatable force in the challenge until she ran into Camilla, of course. But we've discussed this enough we've discussed that so much on this podcast, like, throughout, like, our entire, like, like, I don't know how many people have actually followed us from the beginning when we started this, but I feel like that's been a recurring theme, is just finding weird ways to bring Camilla up in various
She comes up about once an episode.
She really does. And I feel like we've gone in detail about that specific elimination.
No, we have. I just think it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
because so much happened, and not only on the girl side.
Marie really took a face full of blue paint or whatever that was.
That was pretty, like, funny that Cara kicked, I think just in anger, decided to go kick, like, one of the walls, and Marie was on the other side and just got blasted with, like, with blue debris and paint from it. You know what's also funny? This is ridiculous.
Cara has not been in elimination this entire trilogy, and then we got to see her in 2 eliminations in 1 episode. That's the craziness of the Final Reckoning for you.
Oh, you never know.
Are off to the Redemption House, where Zach and Amanda still have not solved their issues. So there's that. But Cara and Marie want to make an agreement with Kim and Kaylee to where it's got to be one of the girl teams that get back in.
And that's not a bad idea.
Good old feminist Cara.
I she's got good intentions there, and I mean, I don't have anything against it if they want to, saddle up and pick each other to just, to girl power,
Yeah.
You do you. I didn't really have any. I wasn't like, well, maybe you should pick your friends there or something. Like, it didn't really bother me. It's like, hey, yeah.
Yeah, and out of the choices, you obviously don't want Zach and Amanda or Brad and Kyle.
No.
So
maybe you do.
And
want
you don't
Brad.
want the big.
Let's be honest. Maybe you do want Brad
at this
and Kyle.
point.
God, those guys suck this season.
They also, the other two were the Big Brother teams that are so closely linked up. So
yeah.
So yeah, it was an obvious choice for them to latch on to Cam and Kaylee. So pull out the notes here.
No, so people who pulled the double cross.
We're just going right for that.
Yeah, because you're reviewing the episode in order.
I just wanted to make note of the comment Hunter made when they were in the main house for a brief moment. They went back to the main house, and Hunter said, "It's like one small step for mankind, or it's one." Well, let me
You're blowing it.
One small step for man, but one huge leap for the Team Young Buck. He tried something there. He really did.
A valiant effort, Hunter. You just keep working at it, buddy.
And me butchering that was exactly something Hunter would do. So there you go.
So, yeah, they go. Everybody's all like, "Oh no, Cara Marie, we didn't see this coming. No, whoa, wow."
Natalie literally was sitting there in the house like, I hope it. She said like it's probably Cara Marie or something, or said like this. This happens every time. Like on Big Brother, it happens where like they'll be like, all right, jury house, who do you want to see in coming next? It's like, I feel like we're gonna see Brett, and then it's Brett. What do you know? So I feel like they give them hints.
All right, guys, who do you want to see next? And it could be any of them, but I would guess somebody whose name starts with a B and ends with a ret.
Also, you want to talk about irrelevant things this season that meant nothing? That freaking surveillance room.
Oh man, yeah. Holy shit, they haven't shown that in a while.
Yeah, because there's nothing to show. Because
That is stupid.
the only point of the surveillance room was to show hookups, and
the point of the surveillance room, it literally I believe it got created on the spot to show them that Kayla and Melissa fought.
They could have showed them the Sylvia Marie fight. That would have been an interesting thing to see, but I guess not. They didn't have good enough cameras in the kitchen. That fight happened in the kitchen while people were making pizza.
Never mind. I was just thinking of like something from. I just thought of a way back thing from high school, and it completely distracted me.
Okay.
So yeah, you know,
high school was the shit.
No way. It was totally normal.
It was totally normal.
It was just like, like it was not shitty or great. Like it was just
incredibly average.
It was just high school.
Yeah. That was our high school experience.
Yeah, it was freaking high school.
The double cross time, where TJ informs him that there will be 8 riders of the apocalypse. Another just incredibly unnecessary line that they throw in.
4 teams are going to get this. 2 people are going to pick some crosses. And who picks them?
Cam and Kaylee and Brad and Kyle. Back
Boom.
to back.
So now it's time to go pick your bitches. And Cam came up with some sweet idea to potentially not pick Cara and Marie to force Kyle into it, because then that would give a chance of getting 4 girls back. This girl has been using her big brain this whole season.
Yeah,
and this was a really good idea.
I thought it was a great idea. Plus, you put Kyle in a shit situation there, and you get to go against a team that you already had beaten.
No.
They just didn't want to. I feel like they went back on that because they didn't want to.
It was the safest option.
They didn't want to be bitches and go back on their word to Marie and Cara.
I think that they didn't want to run. It wasn't about not going back on their word. It was the idea of just the fact that it did run a risk of them not picking Cara and Marie.
Yeah.
The fact if it meant that they could go back on their word but still guarantee Cara and Marie getting picked, they would have did it. But they what was it? Cam and Kaylee end up choosing Cara and Marie. Yeah. And
they had a night out at the club.
Did anything?
These redemption people get
important.
By the way, this redemption house now had more people than the main house at this point as well.
Did anything even happen at the club?
No. Not that I know of. No, that's where this conversation happens, where Cam is discussing with Kaylee. Listen, you gotta. We didn't even. You know what? We were just about to skip over the entire argument that took place in the redemption house, where Kyle is going to Cara and convincing her to pick him and not Cam and Kaylee, and that information gets back to Kaylee, who then
they yell and they made a lot of noise, and I didn't pick up on any of it.
It was like Brad and Kyle not coming off well this season.
No, they're little bitches.
Yeah, anytime they've been tested, their true colors are showing, and Brad getting into it with both Cam and Kaylee. And I feel like a lot of the house is just over Kyle shit in general. Like they're finally like realizing it and just turning on him. Mm-hmm. So that brings us to redemption, where TJ then drops another bomb that Zach's eye is unfortunately too fucked up to where they can't compete in the game anymore, and that's it for Zach and Amanda.
The done, which was just a really nice way of booting them off without like them actually being like eliminated.
Yeah,
that's really what it was. They were not going to get picked. There was a 0% chance they were the last people that were going to.
You don't think Brad and Kyle could have picked them?
Absolutely not, because they picked.
Amanda seemed to say
they said they picked Cara and Marie because they thought they had a better chance of beating them than Jose and Davon.
But Amanda.
Or sorry, Paulie and.
But at that point, Amanda and Zach were already gone.
Yes, and what I'm saying is, if they picked Paulie and Natalie because they thought they had a better chance of beating them than Jose and Davon, means that they were judging this purely
Oh, you know what?
on
that
what
was
was
the
going
other
to
thing.
get them back. They were not going to beat Zach and Amanda.
That was the other thing. Cam was saying that.
Dude, just imagine real quick Zach spinning that wheel.
Oh yeah, he would have.
Brad would have
Imagine if it was
Brad
Zach.
would have been literally glued to the wall of that ball.
Imagine
spinning.
if it was Zach and Amanda versus Polly and Natalie in that.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Natalie would have had to call like throw in the towel.
What else? What there was something. Oh, that was the other point that Cam was making is that they and even Amanda. I just say Amanda seemed like pretty and not interviews because this was after the fact, but she did say that she thought Brad and Kyle has a good chance we're going to pick them, and Cam seemed to think that as well, which is why she wanted to. Another reason why she wanted to go Nat and Polly is because she was like Kyle's going to not pick his friend here. He'll definitely stab Zach in the back. And go with
I sided with, and that's why I sided with Cam on that. I wasn't buying that shit to begin with because from what we've seen from the 2 seasons, that Kyle's a snake and that he's just gonna take the way of least resistance, and that is easily Paulie and Natalie of that group. Because even if Jose and Davon happen to be, say I don't know, like end up being easier than Paulie and Natalie, you're gonna get a mouthful from Davon. Which might just be worse than having to fight a slightly stronger competition, because that girl knows how to lay into people.
Reads.
However, I would say they would have been better off picking Jose and Davon because Jose would have probably gassed out on spinning before Paul.
But I mean, they can't really tell. And Natalie and Paulie have lost 3 times. Like it's hard to not feel confident about going against them again.
No, of course it's true.
This is a cool elimination.
Yeah, it was actually. I thought it was gonna be like really goofy when they brought it out, but it was actually pretty cool. You got to spin some people and some balls, and they got to grab 5 winning numbers. And
that was really hard to find the freaking numbers.
Whoever's in the ball, the opposition spins them. Yeah. And I guess if we go into the first elimination, that is Cara and Marie versus Cam and Kaylee. And
it was a pretty even matchup.
It was very even. And I will say Cara and Marie did end up pulling it out. By one ball. By 1 ball. But man, like this was really close. And I gotta give it up to Kaylee through all these eliminations that her and Cam were in. Was that 2? 3? 3. We've always talked about Kaylee being a really weak competitor. And, she's not going to win in a strength thing or a speed thing. But, like, these eliminations she's been placed in have been right up her alley. Yeah. Like, this girl really excels under pressure.
She's always, like, locked up in some contraption. Or being flung around.
Yeah, it is. It's like, if it, like, put this girl in, like, a confined space and then she has to like do some sort of strategic thing. I won't say a puzzle, but like something that requires like a bit of like mental strategy. And she just kills it. She's really good under pressure. This girl does not crack.
Yeah, and she also takes direction well.
Yeah, she did a really good job. I don't know how she's gonna handle herself solo, but like in teams, like she's like a partner to have.
She's like the anti-Natalie. Although Natalie somehow pulled it out in this elimination against all the most unlikely.
This really was, especially because she's been quite the failure in like 3 eliminations.
Natalie was relatively good, like pretty good in the missions on Vendettas, but has completely foiled under the pressure in all the eliminations that she's been in.
Yeah.
So Kaylee's really the anti that, in that she's actually like. Calm.
Like she's crappy in like a lot of stuff.
And she's pretty bad in most of the challenges, but in these
never forget that Kaylee and Cam did get the power team.
They did win a power team, yeah.
Or whatever. Is that what they called it?
Yeah, it's power team.
Was it?
Power team. That's
something.
Right. I don't know. That took me way too long to think of that answer, but yeah.
Because that was Man, that what was that, like 5 months ago that they won that? Like how long ago was that they won that challenge?
It was like August. Almost 2 months ago, probably.
Oh my god. And that was episode 6, if I remember right. It was
7.
because I that was my favorite episode of the season so far.
Yeah, that was the same episode. Obviously the big Cam power move.
Yeah. This one's close up there too because it kind of like kept moving. It's fun episode. But yeah, not much too much to say about the first elimination other than it was very close. And both girls in the ball pit performed very well in given their circumstance.
And I remember that number, Marie, 27, my favorite number, was the last one. And that's what won it for.
I did not pay attention to a single number that was.
I didn't either. They didn't show it. They didn't even show them. But Marie said it, the last one was 27. And I remember that because 27 is my favorite number.
Oh, and Brian, quick quiz. What's my favorite number?
19.
Wow, you know that?
Yes, I do.
You know that.
All those Royal Rumble games.
That's why you remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting you to say like to like reference some sort of like baseball player. Or something.
I don't know if that's why. I don't know why it's your favorite.
Who's the number 19 in baseball?
I have no idea.
There's a good amount of hockey number 19s.
I think it's like, I don't know if it's 18 or 19. There's a number that's like heralded by like Japanese like pitchers, and it's like, I think it's 18.
It's like, what is it, like a little sacred number or something?
Yeah, or something. Because like in like a lot of these Japanese pitchers, they come over and they want that number.
Oh, interesting.
Or it's always given to the ace of the staff, I think is what it was.
Oh,
in Japan.
In Japan, interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
it's either 18 or 19. I'm not sure. Tanaka on the Yankees wears, I think he's 19.
Well, maybe it might be that. What is did the Angels dude? What's his name?
Ohtani.
Yeah, did Ohtani get? Oh, do you know his number?
He's 17.
17.
Yeah. Tanaka is 19.
So this solves nothing.
Yeah. But maybe I think maybe it is 18, but 18 was taken, so they picked like the next closest one. I bet that was it.
Okay.
I don't know who's 18 on the Yankees, but maybe it's retired because all the Yankees numbers are retired.
Yeah. You don't even know all your favorite teams' retired numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot to remember.
Because there's so many.
I have only a few. Actually, I don't even know if I know all the numbers. I just know the names. Like, I can't remember Jerry Kuzman's numbers. They're like 49 or something.
I have no idea.
49 or 39? I don't know.
Anyway.
But yeah, number 19 is my favorite number. Can
we talk about the fucking flops? I just when you thought nobody could flop harder on this season than Pauly and Natalie. We got Brad and Kyle.
Yeah.
In this chat, Kyle whipping Natalie around so hard in this thing, literally suffocating her in the balls.
Oh my god, I couldn't believe. Yeah, she was saying it was like literally hard to breathe, and he was whipping this thing, and it ended up, if we skip to the end real quick, being his downfall because he was gassed and he was like rolling pretty slow.
Yeah.
And he was whipping her around for so long that she developed a she had the time to be her mind is not in the right place, being thrown around. But he was doing it for so long that she was able to just gather herself. And not only that, but then think of a strategy to do while you're being like whipped that fast.
Yeah.
Because he did it for that long.
And Pauly was just keeping a steady enough pace. I feel like Brad really shit the bed.
Well, I think he did too because wasn't he up like 4-1 or something?
Like Kyle gave him so much. I mean, that's Kyle's fault for gassing out and going way too hard.
Yeah.
But also he gave Brad so much time, and like Brad had a clear advantage there. Like he had.
I was also thinking Brad being in the pit. As soon as his elimination started, I kind of thought maybe it should have been flip flopped. With Kyle in the pit and Brad on the
Kyle is weirdly like stronger than like even bigger and stronger than Brad. Like,
that is kind of something that I was thinking
of. It doesn't seem that way, but he is.
My thought process was that Brad would do better in both sections.
Yeah.
And then that they decided that Brad being better than him in the ball pit would outweighs him being better on the spinner. Mm. But that was just my idea. However, yeah, Kyle whipped her around, and I gotta say, highlight of the episode, moment here, even better than Derrick Henry is peeking his head out, and almost as good as the preseason trailer that never aired of Chuck screaming into the air, almost as good as that, would be Paulie talking about how absolutely gassed he is and how he's got nothing left in him, and then they're showing him.
Thing.
Yeah, he falls too. It's funny. He's got nothing left. He's like, I sacrificed my body. I got nothing left, and they're showing him like trying to push the thing, and he's like kind of getting to the top, and then he can't do it, and he comes back down, and then I don't know, and then while he's doing this, they cut to Natalie like getting the fourth ball
one,
in,
yep.
and all of a sudden just Paulie just becomes fucking CT for a hot second. It's just like screaming.
A burst of energy.
And
He spins it so fast for like 5 seconds.
It was spinning it like as fast as Kyle when Kyle started.
Yeah.
Just like flinging Brad. Brad stood no chance. It just locked him in. This was like being locked into the master lock. You weren't getting out. And this Paulie, it was so ridiculous that he just got this outrageous Superman burst of energy, and it was all that he needed because I would say 5 or so seconds after his burst of energy and he went back to normal, Natalie dropped the last ball and got them the victory over Brad and Kyle. The flop cakes, as I'll call them.
Well, this was a flop versus a flop cake, if you want to call it that. But one has to go back, and that would be Paulie and Natalie finally avenging not 1, not 2, but 3 elimination losses
this season
by coming away with one. Yep.
So that I asked you what this makes Natalie's record, and you told me 1-3, but wouldn't it make her 1-4? I meant her career.
1-3. No. Oh yeah, no.
Cam. She lost to Cam.
She lost to Cam, and then she lost to Cam again this season. Then she lost to Jose and Devon. Yeah, so 1-4.
1-4.
They win when they matter most.
Yep. But
I honestly was convinced that they were gonna lose again. I was almost certain they're gonna lose again, and then they're gonna win like whatever the last one is, and it's gonna be like right before the final, and they're gonna get to the final.
Yep. Sad to see Jose and Devon go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But
I mean, really like
their time is they got so much time compared to like when you compare a team like that on the old season would have been on like 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the one good thing about this extension. We got to see so much of Jose and Devon to where the audience has really warmed up to them and really accepted them as part of the challenge.
Now that is a good thing. However, it's also something kind of shitty. As I was realizing, I was like, man, these longer seasons are allowing us to see rookies more and like get to know them. That's pretty cool. And then I was realizing, like, man, I really want these 2 to stay. I really want Chuck to stay. I really want this person to stay. I really want and naming all the rookies. Like, if this happens every season, I'm gonna want the rookies to always stay.
But it's also like another thing that I think a lot of the fan base this season is not rooting for the Lavender group, and a lot of it is because like they're never like in any danger. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So like Jose and Devon are just such an easy to root for team because they're the ones getting put in every week. They're the ones getting, and like the Lavender group isn't even getting that much like airtime. It doesn't always get that much. Like Sylvia and Joss are like invisible this season for the most part. But that's but like they played a great game still. It's not like they're not doing well. It's just like they're not being tested. Like the actions in the house aren't that important. Right. Like to the game, like they're doing what they're going along with their alliance. They're not making any waves. You know, they're doing exactly what they should be doing. What a good member of an alliance does. I think Sylvia's actually playing the best game of anyone this season, to be honest, because everyone else in her alliance has had. I mean, I guess she had the fight with Marie last week, but Shane has already been in twice, and because he's ran his mouth off to a bunch of people, and Ashley and Hunter, maybe Ashley, but they also came in like halfway through, so you have to give Sylvia credit for sticking it out from the beginning. Plus, she's completely running her team. Like, Jaws has no say over anything on that team, so
he's just there to look good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He gave Amanda his necklace. I don't think he ever got that back.
Oh, was it a nice necklace?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I didn't see it. I just saw him put a necklace on her.
I didn't even see that part. Also, something I think that we should bring up is during the second elimination, Brad and Kyle and Paulie and Natalie, Brad or Banana said in a confessional that this he sees as a win-win because whichever one comes back, he's going to make his number one, which shows just how easily he's going to step right over Kara. Like, yep, nah, all right.
And
bye.
it shows how Bananas will suddenly become friends with somebody when it's convenient for his game.
Exactly.
Like, look at how much he's like, yeah, let's go, Marie. You go, girl. When like he's been trashing Marie the last 2 seasons.
And you know what's like pretty funny about like how I've been riding the banana train for the past couple episodes. Now that he potentially, like, currently I am still on the banana train because technically nothing's changed yet, but as soon as the like numbers game just shifts where he's like in favor again, I'm like, oh fuck Bananas, what the hell? But like, because I just can't help but to root for whoever's the underdog and whoever's got their back against the wall, and I just like if he's got like close to or tied numbers game, I'm just gonna be like, ah, fucking Bananas, god damn it. But you know, when he was just him and Tony versus the world and kind of Kara. Like, it was fucking awesome. Like, I was totally digging that.
Yeah, that lasted 1 episode.
It's like 1.5.
It was once Zach and Amanda left.
Yeah.
Then because they were literally the only team there besides Cara and Maria that were on that alliance.
Yeah.
So it was basically 1 episode. But we wanted to discuss how the house dynamics work going forward now, because the Lavender Lady / Young Buck alliance still has the numbers theoretically. 4-3.
Yes, it's currently 4-3. If both teams that come back go right back onto Banana side. Now, Cara and Marie appear that they will be going to Banana side.
Because why wouldn't
Paulie and Natalie, you said, would be going to Banana side. I see that.
They're easy
but
targets.
I also see Paulie as like just the kind of guy, the same way that he doesn't like Brad and Kyle, that he's just gonna like just find a bone to pick with Bananas.
Oh, I definitely see that.
Like you know what I mean, and get into a big conflict
Paulie actually
over that.
Gets along with I feel like he would get along with like Ashley and Sylvia, like those kind of people.
That's a style.
Yeah, and he would beef up with the Bananas or the.
That's why I was like kind of leaning 50-50. But he's got a pretty good relationship with Natalie, and I think he's gonna trust Natalie.
Then again, we know his relationship with Cara as well, so that's another thing.
Exactly. He's got interest in Cara, and he's gonna go there because Natalie's gonna want to go to Bananas, and he's gonna trust in his partner.
So whoever wins the challenge, so
we got 4-3 on that.
It's gonna come down to who. So if Bananas and Tony win the challenge again, would they have the power? And they throw a power vote on one team, and the 2 votes vote. So it would be a tie then.
What?
And they would break the vote. So Bananas and Tony technically have the power to send in who they want next week.
If they win.
Well, if Nat and Paulie and Cara, I think Cara and Marie definitely vote for him. If Nat and Paulie wanted to vote for him. So this next challenge coming up, assuming they're doing a regular challenge and not a purge challenge.
And then if all 4 of Team Young Buck people vote for somebody, it would be 4-4, but then Power Team gets to break the tie.
But then also whoever's in the thing gets to call out whoever they want, so they would probably call Natalie and Paulie at that point.
Right.
But I fully expect what's going to be, it's going to be one, either way, I don't think there's a scenario where it's not going to be one side of the next elimination is going to be a Lavender / Young Buck person versus Bananas.
Well,
that's really the beauty of the season. You can't force feed 2 people in against each other that are like in the same alliance, really.
Right.
Unless you somehow fuck them over the way Cam did.
Here's something. Seeing how potentially the Young Bucks, as of the beginning of this episode, look like they're just gonna run this shit to the final, and have like 3 or 4 of those teams in there. Now that would have been a fun as hell final, but I could easily see the Bananas faction shifting this dynamic and all of a sudden walking all 3 of the teams in the Bananas faction into the final, and then like 1 Lavender Ladies team or something. And I could see that happening, just like that. But God, that would be a boring final.
What? Who?
Cara, Marie, Bananas, Tony, like Paulie, Natalie, and then like a Lavender Lady group. That would be a boring final compared to the chances of it being like all 4 Lavender Lady teams.
You think that would be more fun?
Yeah, it would be like,
or maybe
really...
like 3 of them and Bananas and Tony.
Yeah, that was my thought. Like it was like Shane and Nelson, Joss and Sylvia, Hunter, Ashley, and then Bananas and Tony. That would be an awesome final.
Yeah,
that would kick ass.
But you've had this underlying suspicion all season that Natalie and Paulie are gonna sneak their way in there.
Oh, it's gonna happen. And now that they're gonna, as we assume, will be hooking up with the Bananas faction, I see it even more.
But I could also see, I think they're very likely to have to go in. They're gonna have to win another elimination against a good team.
They're not gonna win.
Well, they need to win. They're more than like, because if a team is up there,
they're gonna go into another elimination, lose, go to redemption,
and then win again and come back in
and face. They're gonna face like Cam and Kaylee or something. Because that would definitely be the weakest team of. They're fucking fuck. They face Brad and Kyle because they fucking.
I wasn't even gonna talk about this, but Brad and Kyle had like the biggest fall from grace I could ever remember, because when they came out like world beaters and won those first those 2 challenges that were super, athletic driven challenges that very much catered to the teams with 2 guys on them. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of overreaction I saw. Brad and Kyle are clearly the best team. They're going to run away with this thing. Them and Bananas and Tony are definitely the 2 top teams. And look where we are now. They just lost another elimination to the ultimate layup, Paulie and Natalie.
Yeah, these guys suck.
And they didn't win any more challenges after that.
And
either.
They're not even like that. They're not on the same page. Like they're in sync.
Like they got they're incredibly lucky that they got put together like that.
And isn't Brad like notoriously pretty good at eliminations?
Yeah, but Kyle's never been in one and has not won one yet. He's 0-2.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. What was the elimination that they're in this year? Besides this one again,
Shane and Nelson one.
What was like the actual elimination?
It was that one where they're on the treadmills and they had to.
Oh yeah, that was like a goofy thing though.
No, it was.
But it was like tough.
I mean, they got steamrolled in that.
Yeah, no, they got crushed.
Yeah,
absolutely crushed. Shane and Nelly figured out that it was like day and night with those guys. They were just on. They were so locked in doing that elimination, and meanwhile, Brad and Kyle still like slipping and falling.
Yeah,
they got creamed. But I just meant like goofy as in like it wasn't like it's not a traditional elimination, which really they don't really do traditional eliminations anymore.
Yeah,
and this year they haven't done like a heavily physical elimination.
They can't with the format unless they know that it's going to be 2 guys or 2 girls against each other.
Well, yeah, they always do. Come on. They always. I've been saying this since the beginning. Is that because they have like a list of eliminations that they have for this season. They got a list of things that they're gonna do, like 15. They're like, yeah, these are our elimination ideas, and we have the supplies for them. And then they go, oh, this team and this team are that. I think this elimination will suit them the best.
But like that's
because this is exactly why Leroy has only seen physical eliminations, because they got their list, they see who's up, and they go, oh, Leroy, it's going to be fun as hell if we see him doing something physical. And that's what they've done always. So yes, Brian, the answer is that there is, if there are 2 teams that are like guy, they're not, that they could definitely get a physical elimination. It's not some random ball bullshit.
No, but I'm saying the format for that season makes that impossible because you don't know the 2 people that are going in whatever the week is.
True.
So that was my whole point. Is like they can't, unless they know for sure that it's going to be 2 guys going against each other. Which how could you even know that?
Then I think what they do here is they take their standard routine and they just modify it where they assume. The most likely people that are going to go in against this team is blank or blank. So why don't we judge it off of that?
But
I'm like, because writing's on the wall. Usually, it's not usually like a big surprise.
And clearly, this one that they did this episode was just something that could have gone any direction, really. Although I guess because like I mean the way Kyle was whipping Natalie around, it seemed like they weren't going to get a single ball. And then they ended up winning. So.
Oh yeah, no.
Which again,
I thought I literally said I thought she was going to.
Which again has been a recurring point I brought up throughout the show. Is I actually like these janky, wacky eliminations that they've done because it allows for unpredictable and just complete randomness.
Don't get me wrong, I like this too, 100%. But I still like to see 1 to 2.
Oh yeah.
Like wrestling style, like beat 'em up elimination.
I'm not doubting that.
Not like, yeah, or like even something. For example, when Leroy and Hunter faced each other, where it's like an indirect physical elimination.
Yep.
Like something fun, like where they're bashing through those walls. Yeah, like that's still really cool too. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a damn hall brawl. I'm not asking for anything crazy, but like, yeah, it hasn't been yet, and my only assumption is productions told them that, or decided that they want to steer away from that, which is interesting because I mean they did it just last season. They had the X Battle stuff, and they had that Sylvia and Melissa
It's not. They're not going away with it. It's just the way they formatted this with the split gender teams and the vote being a call out on the spot. They can't really set it up a certain way to where you can get a super physical one in there. So anyway, that's that.
Yeah, they're playing it safe.
And that would do it for the episode. You want to move into the sauna?
Sure, we can do that. We got to end eventually, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are.
So
is your phone dead yet?
8%.
Ah.
You want to start it off?
Sure. Let me take a quick look at these. Do you think you have a bombshell, or should I be a bombshell?
I definitely don't have one. So
okay. All right. Well, this is let's start with this one. Marie and Cara will win next week's elimination.
The elimination, not the
because it's the the challenge.
You think they'll win the challenge?
I think they'll win the trivia.
Oh.
And the way I did this is because they said that it was Brian missed it, and now it's making me question what I even know, because Brian doesn't usually miss shit. But I could have sworn they said that this was a fan picked challenge.
You know what I think it might have been is just TJ saying that it's a fan favorite, like trivia is a fan favorite challenge. That might have been what he meant.
Nah, the way it was worded is that this was like it made it sound like that it was going to be related to something with the challenge fans, whether they made these questions or it's about like the fans' favorite stuff. It was kind of weird. I can't remember the wording now. I'm really trying to think about it. But they even like threw text up on the screen like this is a fucking official thing. He didn't say this is a fan favorite challenge. I can confirm you on that. I can't remember what he said, but it was some fan related thing. But I can straight up say this was not. He was not saying it was a fan favorite. So I was just like, this is trivia, and given the theme, I thought that someone who spent their life on the challenge might be pretty good at it, and they're not dumb girls. Feel like they know how to spell, which is a challenge classic. Yeah, it's a trivia classic on this show. What else is a trivia classic that they always do?
Like random pop culture shit.
Yeah. Like who's
Beyonce's
Brad Pitt
sister.
dating?
Yeah.
Actually, isn't that an easy one?
No, it's not Jennifer. Is it Jennifer Aniston?
I don't know. Never mind. It's not even hard. It's hard.
It's Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah,
Jennifer Aniston is with.
I was gonna say, isn't she with A-Rod?
No, that's Jennifer Lopez.
That's J-Lo.
Jennifer.
See, we don't know our crap.
Who's with Jennifer Aniston? Is it Ben Affleck?
Dude, I do not know.
That stuff tripping us up.
That stuff does.
See, we
not
would suck at
interest
those questions.
Me. Oh yeah, that goes right over my head. No interest.
It's funny that you mention that though, because my hot take, which is even more outrageous, is that Nat and Paulie, the two Big Brother players, somehow win the fan fiction trivia.
Is that really your?
Yes.
Your take?
Yeah.
And what is your reasoning behind this?
Absolutely none.
Yeah, other than you wanted to make a hot take.
They're riding a momentum train, and they're going to pull out a miracle.
So you just wanted to write a hot take is what you wanted to do.
Well, even if it's not just them winning the trivia challenge in general would be. But crazier things have happened. I mean, Jenna won a trivia challenge once, so.
But Jenna's not stupid.
Jenna is.
I was thinking of Jenny. Sorry, I was thinking of Jenny.
Okay.
I apologize. I apologize. I think didn't Tony win it last year?
Yeah. No, 2 seasons ago.
A few seasons ago.
That was when you threw the X's on the people when you got one right.
Oh yeah, that was like the worst trivia challenge.
Oh yeah, because it didn't matter if you were good or not. Like
that was the worst.
Like Nicole,
terrible.
I remember Nicole didn't get a single one wrong, and she didn't even wasn't even in the top 3 because people were just throwing X's at her.
It was terrible. Oh, gotta say though, gotta be. Well, it definitely is the latest trivia challenge
during the season.
By episode number, it definitely is. But is it latest just in general?
This is what, like the 11th. Mission?
You know, it probably isn't the latest. There's probably been times that trivia challenges gone on before seven, like with less than 7 teams. There's ever been like a 16?
Maybe, but that isn't really what you're looking at here. What you're looking at is like how many challenges have happened already before.
Oh yeah.
Because and that it's by far because trivia is usually always like around the.
It's
third.
always extremely early.
It's usually either like the 3rd or 4th, 5th, or 6th. I think on Rivals or X's 2, it was like the 7th one. Actually, on Duel 1 and Duel 2, they did a spelling bee, which I believe was the final 5.
Oh.
So it was the last date. Technically, the last challenge was a spelling bee.
A little different than.
But it was only like episode 9,
right?
Because seasons were different back then. But
ah.
That season also had 1, 2. That they had the final episode had 4 eliminations and the whole final. In the 1 hour.
All right.
Yeah, so that they really scooped it up there at the end.
Well, I will say, I got another take for you.
Okay.
I think, given what we all saw in the season, or not the season, in the next episode preview, that within 2 eliminations, all of TYB and the Lavender Ladies will be gone besides Nelly and Shane.
All right, so you think they're within 2 eliminations?
Within 2 eliminations, those 3 teams will be gone.
How will 3 teams be gone in only 2 eliminations?
Because we saw that vignette and someone threw Tony.
Oh.
Someone threw Tony, and it was a guy, and the only guy that is left. It was really hard to tell except who that was. But it definitely wasn't Paulie.
No.
And I don't think it was Hunter either. But I can't really tell who it was yet. But whoever it was is a young buck or a lavender lady.
Wasn't a girl.
Lavender lady teammate. So I think within 2 eliminations... I couldn't say episodes because you never know.
That would be quite the fall from Grace.
Yeah, that they're just
granted they'd still have a good shot at coming back from a
because
redemption,
it sure looks like one of them is going home, which would equal the numbers we were talking about earlier from 4-3 to 3-3. So that it literally means that whoever wins the next daily is their faction's going to win the entire season.
You think that's how?
Because then they're all just going to vote on somebody and be able to knock out.
Yeah, but no, but
2.
That's what I just said like a few minutes ago. There's no way that There's no way that one side isn't going to go against the other in the elimination. It's going to come down to who wins the elimination.
But yeah, it's going to be who wins the next elimination.
If the Lavenders win the challenge, then they will have the power to vote in. Whoever wins the challenge will have the power to pick which team goes in. But
then they all have to face them because they're all going to vote.
They're going to have to go against one of the other side. So like that's
let's say Nelly and Shane win just so we can use a name.
Yeah,
then they are going to pick Tony and Bananas. So let's just say that. Just for whatever.
Josh Hunter.
And then all 3 teams of Lavender Ladies Young Buck
vote Tony Bananas.
are going to vote Tony and Bananas. which means that they get a pick of the crop. So it's going to come down to who wins that elimination. I think their faction will win out.
You think Bananas will beat one of the Lavender teams?
No, I'm saying that whichever faction wins in that battle, of our hypothetical battle we just named, that person's faction will end up being the winner. If it goes down to at the end of the next elimination, if it is 3 TYB Lavender Ladies, 2 Bananas faction, TYB Lavender Ladies is going to the finals. And if it's 3 Bananas, 2 Lavender Lady TYB, then, So, yeah. But as you can see by my hot take on what I'm thinking is Team Bananas.
So in that circumstance, the final would be Bananas, Tony, Bananas and Tony, Cara Marie, Nat and Polly, and then Nelson and Shane. Or maybe Cam and Kaylee if they come back.
Technically, but we have Redemption House.
Yeah, Redemption House fucking sucks.
We don't know. But that would be my guess for the coming down to the final 4 alive teams before they do some sort of redemption nonsense.
That's what's the one thing that I can't get over about the season is like all this talk about like, oh, this vote. At the end of the day, nothing matters unless you don't get picked at the double cross, because that's the only way anybody goes home.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Zach and you break your face, or you throw hands like Kayla and Melissa, but that's besides the point. But any of these votes,
or you suplex Tony.
Well, we won't talk about that yet. But any of these votes, you could vote somebody in. They could come. You don't just have to deal with the element of okay, you vote somebody in, they might win the elimination and come back for you. Now you have to deal with them. They might still lose the elimination, go to redemption, lose another elimination in redemption, stay in redemption again, and then come. Look at Paulie and Natalie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know what? You know whose name we haven't said today? Devin. Felt good. I had to say it.
Yeah. Devin was just Corey and Devin just in the house and were extremely quiet. But that's because this was a main redemption focus episode.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say his name because he's a good guy.
It's a good dude. Yeah, we love Devin. My hot take, my second one, was that as far as not episodes go, as far as placement in the challenge goes, Zach and Amanda, to me, by far the strongest team that's ever been on a season to have finished this low in the standings for the season, because that does not by a DQ.
They would be finishing. They would be finishing 11th,
10/11th if you want to tie them with Jose.
It'd be 11th. They're not tied with Jose.
Technically they finished behind.
They got
them.
DQ'd before him.
Oh my God, so that matters. They still eliminated at the same
Absolutely, it matters. They got eliminated 5 minutes later.
Oh God.
Jose and Davon are 10.
Sure, they're 11.
They're 11 on a team of or a group of 18.
Yeah, 17.
17.
Yeah. So
11.
That's pretty ridiculous for the team that was dominating this challenge.
That is fucking dog shit. We're 15 episodes in and they got 11th place.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Fuck this season.
Well, that's my hot take. Maybe that's not even that hot anymore, but because it just speaks to the level of crazy.
The time that Wes
season.
got kicked out, was that Rivals 1?
Yeah, Wes
quick. Was that Rivals 1? What season was that?
He got eliminated second.
Wes, what was that? Wes and Trishelle?
Wes and
Mandy. Yeah.
But Wes wasn't gonna win that season. He had no chance. He wasn't gonna. He was already getting put in. He had Zach and Amanda were the dominant team all up until 3 episodes ago, and just speaks to the level of dysfunction that happened there to where they're now out of the game 2 episodes later.
Yeah, that is the least you can say is that they were the perfect example of what the challenge ideas were with Rivals and X's and stuff, of these these pairings, because this is a production wet dream of
what happened with them?
of a dysfunctional dynamic that they want to create when they create these teams, because usually they create them and then 50% of them hate each other, 50% of them dislike each other and then get over it, and then the 50% that hate each other, half of those people, so I guess that would be 25% total, literally can't work together. The other 25 just make it work. And then of that 25% that's left, half of them, so now we're down to 12.5% of all groups ever made are just so unbelievably dysfunctional that brings their end. And this might be the biggest telling of a dysfunctional team that it came to an end for them because of it.
When way before teams that they were clearly like superior, like it wasn't even close, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like all these teams that made it further than them. That also speaks to the ridiculousness of the format, but we've already talked about it enough. What was your bombshell?
Well, my bombshell needs a little bit of explanation. So a little birdie told me that there is a certain special someone hosting the redemption.
You mean the reunion?
The reunion. Yes, hosting the reunion. And I got a bone to pick about that. So, from all the information I've gathered, I don't know, is this a spoiler? Is it released that this person is, or is it only through spoilers?
It's only through. I mean, you can say it. Who gives a shit? It's a reunion.
Yeah, fuck off. It's a reunion. It sure sounds like to me the reunion host is going to be Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, you are correct.
So this is a bunch of shit. Because Dolph fucking Ziggler is a boring vanilla midget fuck, and he is nothing but a bad time. And this dude fucking sucks. And I'm tired of this guy's bullshit. And I'm tired of seeing him in wrestling. I'm tired of seeing him anywhere. This guy needs to get the fuck out of my face. So, I don't usually watch the reunion to begin with, but I am boycotting the living fucking shit out of this fucking bullshit. I am so done. That is crap. Get the fucking Miz back on here, because that guy actually is fucking fun. He actually is relatable to the challenge. He's good at his fucking job. Okay? Unlike fucking Dolph Ziggler, who doesn't even know what a fucking heel is, because he's that fucking terrible.
You done, angry video game nerd?
Okay, so my bombshell. My bombshell is that next year's redemption, I did it again. Next year's reunion host will be the Great Khali.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.